Ladies and gents, thanks for joining me here in Resolving Reality. Before we get into the video, please do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. On top of that as well, I'm looking for some guests for a new round of interviews, so any suggestions, please do email contactrrATprotonmailDOTcom, and also give us a follow on X as well, @ResolvingR. So the first big piece of news is Leo Varadkar has stepped down as the Taoiseach or Prime Minister of Ireland to be replaced by some other activist. So we're going to get into that, some other bits and pieces as well involving say the appropriation of culture in Ireland by the crazy lefties and Patrick's Day and so on. So thanks for joining me. So the first thing up here we have is some video statement made by Leo Varadkar about stepping down. So here we go.
Yep. Hello everyone, I'd like to thank you for coming. I'd like to read a brief statement. I've had the privilege to serve for the past 20 years as a public representative, 13 as a member of cabinet, 7 as leader of my party, and most of those as Taoiseach of this great country. It has been the most fulfilling time of my life.
That's nice.
Working with colleagues, I've had the honour of helping to lead Ireland from unemployment to full employment, from a budget deficit to budget surplus, from austerity to prosperity, through a pandemic in which we saved lives and livelihoods, through Brexit when we prevented a hard border between North and South and protected our place in Europe.
Well done.
I'm proud that we've made the country a more equal and more modern place when it comes to the rights of children, the LGBT community, equality for women and their bodily autonomy. More recently, we've led the country through an inflation and cost of living crisis, the worst of which is now thankfully behind us. We've made significant steps towards affordable childcare and universal healthcare, making access to both more affordable for more people. We've made work pay better, with the implementation of a national living wage, statutory sick pay, lower personal taxes, improved family leave, allowing parents to spend more time with their children in those crucial early years.
Wow.
I'm happy that during my time as Taoiseach we were able to honour my commitment to double spending on the arts, culture and sport. This is making a real difference now and will continue to do so into the future, fostering and assisting the artists and the sportsmen and women of the future. We provided leadership by increasing our spending on international development, and we've expanded our diplomatic footprint around the world, building on Ireland's already considerable soft power. The National Broadband Plan is underway, bringing fibre-based internet connections to every home, school, business and farm and community in Ireland, which the critics said shouldn't be done.
He didn't do any of that.
We've established the technological universities and the Rural Development Fund, and since 2011 we've quadrupled overall annual investment in public infrastructure. That's meant considerably more investment in priorities like housing, healthcare facilities, school buildings and climate action. And I am deeply proud that we as Irish people welcomed over 100,000 Ukrainian refugees to our shores.
There we go.
When they needed our protection, notwithstanding the challenges this brings. In my time as Taoiseach, we reduced consistent poverty and income inequality. Housing construction has more than doubled, with 500 people becoming homeowners each week for the first time, the highest number in almost 2 decades. Of course, there are areas in which we have been much less successful, and some in which we have sadly gone backwards. But I hope you'll forgive me if I leave it to others to point them out on a day like this. They will receive plenty of airtime and column space.
No, list them.
When I became party leader
Keep it
and
balanced.
Taoiseach back in June 2017, I knew that one part of leadership is knowing when the time has come to pass on the baton to somebody else, and then having the courage to do it. That time is now. So I am resigning as President and leader of Fine Gael effective today, and will resign as Taoiseach as soon as my successor is able to take up that office. I've asked our party General Secretary and Executive Council.
Should never have been in power in the first place, and besides, he should have stepped down a long time ago. Notwithstanding everything that's gone on the last, year, right? So the last, 6 months to a year, the amount of anger towards the Irish government has been really, really building, that they're clearly not listening and they're just determined to do what they want to do. So he should have stepped down a long time ago. But look, none of it really matters that much because it wasn't him. It'd be some other activist as the leader, shall we say.
So to provide for the new leader to be elected in advance of the Ardèche on Saturday, April 16th, thus allowing a new Taoiseach to be elected when the Dáil resumes after the Easter break. I know this will come as a surprise to many people and a disappointment to some, and I hope at least you will understand my decision.
Everyone's delighted.
I know that others will, how shall I put it,
even your woman in the background
just
there.
fine. That is the great thing about living in a democracy. There's never a right time to resign high office.
It's not a democracy.
However, this is as good a time as any. Budget 2024 is done. Negotiations have not yet commenced on the next one. The institutions of the Good Friday Agreement are working again, and our trading relationship with the UK in the post-Brexit era is settled and stable. The new Taoiseach will have a full 2 months to prepare for the local and European elections, and up to a year before the next general election. My reasons for stepping down are both personal and political. I believe this government can be re-elected, and I believe my party, Fine Gael, can gain seats in the next Dáil. Most of all, I believe the re-election of this three-party government would be the right thing for the future of our country, continuing to take us forward, protecting all that's been achieved and building on it.
I think the pennies dropped that
But
everybody
after
hates
careful
them now.
consideration and some soul-searching, I believe that a new Taoiseach and a new leader will be better placed than me to achieve that, to renew and strengthen the team, to focus our message and policies, to drive implementation. And after 7 years in office, I don't feel I'm the best person for that job anymore.
Just on that point there, I think that, well, me personally, I thought it was going to be Roderick O'Gorman. So for non-Irish people, Roderick O'Gorman is the minister of weird sexual stuff. That's what we should call him. Or they keep changing their posts and stuff like that. To be honest, I don't even notice anymore. It's just like musical chairs to moving around. Varadkar was in charge for a while. Then it was Micheál Martin, and then they swapped around again. It might be Martin again, it might be Simon Harris, so it doesn't really matter. But the way I see it, this is just a pressure valve, right? So someone was going to have to take the fall. This is typical politics, right? Someone was going to have to take the fall after the recent referendum defeat. So such a landslide. That energy has to go somewhere. So someone was going to step down. I thought it was going to be O'Gorman. Turns out it's Varadkar, which kind of surprised me. But this is just a pressure relief valve. This is typical in politics. Someone has to take the fall. In this case, Varadkar himself took it.
There are loyal colleagues and good friends contesting local European elections, and I want to give them the best chance possible. And I think they have a better chance under a new leader.
He's emotional.
I am standing aside in the absolute confidence that the country and the economy are in a good place, and that my colleagues in government from all three parties, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens and the Oireachtas, will continue to work hard for the nation's best interests. On a personal level, I've enjoyed being Taoiseach, leader and a cabinet member since March 2011.
You're mad.
I've learned so much about so many things, met so many people who I'd never got to meet, been to places I would never have seen, both home and abroad. And I am deeply grateful for it. And despite the challenges, would wholeheartedly recommend a career in politics to anyone who's considering it.
Jesus.
However, politicians are human beings and we have our limitations.
Not really, no.
We give it everything until we can't anymore, and then we have to move on.
You need a conscience to be a human
I will,
being.
of course, continue to fulfil my duties as Taoiseach until a new one is elected, and will remain as constituency TD for Dublin West. I know inevitably there'll be speculation as to the quote-unquote real reason for my decision. These are the real reasons.
I just gave the real reason.
That's it. I have nothing else lined up. I have nothing in mind. I have no definite personal or political plans. But I'm really looking forward to having the time to think about them. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my party, my coalition partners, particularly Micheál and Eamon, my constituents, colleagues and staff
My fellow
for their
traders.
loyalty and their phenomenal work, and I'm going to thank them all in person in the near future. Most of all, I want to finish by thanking the people of Ireland for giving me the opportunity to serve them, and I promise I'll keep working for Ireland and my community in any way I can in the future. Thank you very much.
5 to 10% of the population at this stage supports him. So yeah, there we have it, right? So Varadkar stepping down, but anyway, yeah. So I think that's just a a pressure valve, right? So we kind of knew that was going to happen. Someone had to take the fall. It turns out it was Varadkar. So I think that it's really important that because anyone in Ireland needs to keep that kind of aggressive energy going. So I think the energy that was built up with the referendum was really good, and that needs to be kept going. They're hoping in government now that because Varadkar stepped down, that makes people calm down a bit. They're always trying to get you to sit on your hands and rest on your laurels and to kind of switch off. But obviously we're in a never-ending struggle here, and we can never ever back down and lose determination. That's what they're hoping for with this whole reaction there. So what I think we should do is, keep the pressure on, demand more resignations. Roderick O'Gorman, for starters, I mean, I don't know which department they're going to send him off to or whatever's going to happen, but he should be next. So that's what I would say is the Patriots back home is to get out there, demand more resignations, keep the old pressure on, keep things going. So I'm just going to toggle the social media links here as well. I've got loads of different platforms. I don't use them all the same amount, obviously. X is the main one I'm using at the moment. These are just kind of building up other ones in the background. So if you do have these profiles, do just give us a follow and a share. More things like DLive and Entropy and Rumble are going to be more for live streams, mainly YouTube at the moment. This show being obviously not live. So then I want to move to now another topic, which is the right. So we have recently, and quite typically, we had St. Patrick's Day on the 17th of March. So you've got all the crazy lefties across the West, anywhere there's Irishness or Irish people, as usual, what they tried to do is they tried to co-opt Irishness. This is typical with Marxism, the way it tries to it tries to erode patriotism any way it can, and a good way of doing that is to appropriate or to take over events, concepts, take over Irishness itself and use it for their own ends. So obviously St. Patrick's Day creates them a great opportunity to do that, because it's about marching, which is they just love to do. There was a protest or a Marxist march for Palestine in Ireland pretty much every month since the recent reignition of aggression over there between near the Gaza Strip. So every month there seems to be something going on. They're going to keep doing it constantly, and Patrick's Day is no different. So this one here is in New York, I believe. So let me just see if I can play this here. I wonder if she's Irish. Probably not. Right, so that was the first one in New York there, right? So just marching the streets, the Irish colours and all that. Say, most of them probably aren't Irish at all. Don't know anything about Ireland. And this one here is a photograph this should be from the 16th of March. So the Marxist cult members in Ireland and different Palestinian groups, or Palestinian support groups, decided to organise something on the 16th of March, so Saturday the 16th of March, I believe, yep. And they had their own little protest. So talk about marking your territory. This is typical of the way the cult members behave. And so they're lining the streets, and that's the River Liffey there, for anyone who doesn't know. And just marking their territory, trying to turn it into a Marxist festival. So I'm sure, I wouldn't be surprised. They would probably want to do it. They would have liked to have taken over St. Paddy's Day themselves, but things aren't that bad just yet. So next one then is I'm just going to play that, and that'll just just get off the screen here. So that's there's the next one, right? So there's another one. Is that paused? Yes, it is. So this is another one. It's on the Saturday 23rd of March. So another one, right? So another event. I'm just going to get rid of that so you can see this here now. So this is off one of the Facebook groups, the Palestinian support groups. So this is I like when they do this, they actually lay it out and they actually show you that they're Marxist, right? And I want to get back into that subject later on. People still call this liberalism, which is ridiculous. I'm going to dismantle that later on. I'm sick of hearing it. This is Marxism, it's not liberalism. So I like when they do this, they actually put out photos to show us. So you got a bunch of NGO groups there for the Saturday 23rd of March, another protest, another demonstration with a whole myriad of different groups there. So I'm going to just play this, and then there'll be another one zooming in the top half. So I'm just going to dismantle this here slightly. So you got the Stronger Together Congress, the Congress of Trade Unions, SIP2 as well, the one with the hand and the eye in the middle. SIP2 is another, so you got the colour red straight away, so you know it's Marxist, and it's a trade union group as well, based in Dublin. It's been around a very long time. Irish Council for Civil Liberties, right, so I can't even read on Union of Students in Ireland. All right, well, what a shocker. Yeah, it's the Students' Union, full of brainwashing cases. Next one is TUSLA, I think, struggling there. National Women's Council is the next one, so feminist group. Can't remember what the next one is, can't read the next one. Let me just zoom in there. So okay, there's a good one. So see Conran na Gaeilge, it's the second row from the top. So Conran na Gaeilge, that's typical. So that group's been around quite a long time, but when you have groups being infiltrated with cult members and they start getting brainwashed, it looks Irish, it seems patriotic, but it isn't. It's Marxist, right? So then we've got Workers' Union, and so anything to do with union, students, culture, society, people, that it's contaminated as well. Unite the Union, there's another one. COLIV, so it's almost in the middle of the screen. COLIV, Global Solidarity in Action. So there's another key word there, solidarity, so it's Marxist. Mandate Trade Union, what else, and a whole bunch of other groups. I'm just going to press play here and be the next one as well. So it'll be the bottom half of the page. So there we go. Some big words jumping out us there. So we've got eco justice right in the middle of the page. Above that, left block. A load of shamrocks and green colours and Irish looking. And now the thing is, it is an interconnected web of NGOs in Ireland, and the whole thing, almost the whole thing's pretty much rotten. And I was going to bring up a point that Saul Alinsky, who was the famous Jewish Marxist nutcase, really. He was like a community activist who brought out a few books, including Revelli for Radicals and Rules for Radicals as well, which was pretty much the same book, but just when he was older. And he had a bunch of rules in it, and one of his rules was, his 12 rules for radicals, was to make yourself bigger than you are, to kind of act big, right? And I always compare it to, if you ever played with a kitten, like play fighting with a kitten, and they're being a little bit aggressive, sometimes they run at you sideways, right? Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make them, because kittens are obviously tiny, they can fit through tiny little gaps, but when they run at you sideways, they're trying to make themselves bigger than they are. And no doubt the NGO complex is quite big in Ireland, but we have to remember that a lot of them are in several groups. There's not that many people involved. They're just very good at making themselves bigger than they are. And that's something that we should keep in mind. So there's one down the bottom there. Ireland, Palestine Mental Health Network. Jesus. Greystones Against Genocide. So Greystones is a town on the eastern coast of Ireland, for non-Irish viewers, which is one of the more, that kind of area south of Dublin in the county of Wicklow, areas like Bray and so on, or near that area, are not regarded as being the more kind of posh areas, and they tend to be traditional lefties, right? So there's plenty of that nonsense going there. So I can see a clenched fist down in the bottom left. I don't even know which one that is. More Balbriggan Solidarity, Mothers Against Genocide. So that's the left-hand side column halfway up. Mothers Against Genocide. The one above that is Rosa. I know that one. I don't recognise that logo though. But anyway, Rosa, I think that's the group that's about feminism, abortion, just from memory, and socialism. I think I can't even read that from here. But anyway, Rosa, that's a reference to Rosa Luxemburg, because it was the Jewish Marxist who came from Poland after World War I to go into Germany to start the communist movement up there. So she was one of these head cases who ended up getting shot for her trouble. She was arrested and released, and she was shot, thrown into the Landwehr Canal. So she's regarded as being one of these prophets. They always do that, right? So that what they do is they cause trouble and revolution, and then when they get their comeuppance, they're defiant till the end, and then all the cult members who are still alive put them on this pedestal and treat them like they're these wonderful human beings. So they're still going on about her. I think that group is all off the top of my head, Rosa. It's a reference to Rosa Parks, is that it? who was the famously the black female who kind of started the part of the black rights movement in the States. She was asked to get off a bus or something, as a whites only bus or a seating area, something like that, and that's where they got their name from. Right in the middle of the page, just up slightly beside eco justice, see that kind of like an eye symbol. And then right in the middle of the page, grandfathers against racism. My God. So it's just the same. And this is why I'm going to get into this later on. This is what pisses me off. People start calling this liberalism. They don't know what they're talking about. I hear that all the time. Neoliberalism, liberalism. It isn't. It's Marxism. I'll get back to that later. But really, once you learn the symbology and learn the keywords here, it's pretty obvious what these characters are all about. So it's just permanent, constant revolution. So I'm just going to play that. I think it's a video next. I'll see what pops up here next now.
We are here at the...
So this is a video spotted a bunch of more cult members in Ireland what they're trying to do is they love to do this. They try to attach Irishness to Marxism again. That whole co-opting strategy of trying to they do this all across the world wherever they're active. They use the country that they're in and its culture to try to promote their ideology and try to weave around the nationalism or national culture and so on. Now Ireland, for anyone who doesn't know, is extremely rotten with Marxism, has been for quite a long time. So this is just typical stuff here.
Ancient graveyard of Kilwera in County Louth to send a message to you, President Biden.
This is for Biden.
And to honour our ancestors and yours that are buried here. For centuries, Irish people lived in poverty, under occupation and oppression. During the Great Hunger of the 1840s, our British occupiers allowed 1 million Irish people to die of starvation and disease. 1 million were forced to emigrate, like your great-great-grandparents, Owen and Jane Finnegan.
I actually did an interview with an American author and analyst called Chris Fogarty on this in Resolving Reality Radios 6 years ago, whatever. And, we cover the whole subject, the whole Holocaust, the Irish Holocaust, as he kind of refers to it, if anyone wants to check that out.
Who sailed out of Carlingford Lough. Among their children on board was 7-year-old James, your great-grandfather.
Mr. President, as you know,
let me just pause that there. Right, so what they did there with that last clip, I'm going to bring up that image again. There we go. So what they're trying to do there is they're trying to, so you said it right at the start. So Biden has Irish background. This is where it gets ridiculous for me, and it's all just funny. It's pretty much like cult members backing each other up and referring to each other. It's silly, right? They're in their own little delusional bubble. So Biden has Irish background, but there's nothing Irish about him, right? First, and also as well, he's Marxist, right? He's tied in with we know he's got connections to the Chinese Communist Party. We know he's a traitor. We know he's part of the globalist cabal, pretty much. And so it's irrelevant why you even bring it up. But this is just typical. They try to find something that they can use to their advantage, and then they do that. And then just go on about it, trying to appeal to him and ask him to try to change the situation with Israel and Gaza to come into line with Marxist beliefs, which is that Palestine's being oppressed. It's as simple as that. Israel is the oppressor, Palestine's the oppressed. It should all stop, and everyone should do what the Marxists want to. So that's what that's all about, really. So the next piece then is my mouse. So the next piece then is about
during the Great Hunger of the
pause that. So the next one is Varadkar, who made a speech in I assume it's the White House about St. Patrick's Day and so on. So I'm just going to play that here now.
Among their children,
Leaders often ask me, oh, the Irish people are deeply troubled about the
Right, so he started the speech just saying that the Irish people are deeply troubled about what's happening in Palestine, and that there's with the Irish. He's trying to say that the Irish have solidarity with Palestine, pretty much. So he's speaking for the Irish people here.
Catastrophe that's unfolding before our eyes in Gaza. And when I travel the world, leaders often ask me why the Irish have such empathy for the Palestinian people, and the answer is simple: we see our history in their eyes, a story of displacement, of dispossession and national identity questioned and denied, forced emigration, discrimination, and now hunger.
Now, this is typical Marxist cherry picking. What they try to do is they try to equate two historical situations and two completely different types of people, geographical areas and geographical historical situations, and tried to say that they're both the same, which is typical Marxist behaviour, because they think that everybody's equal and we're all the same, so it's easy for them to do that. But that's cherry picking, and obviously some Irish people go along with that, but not all Irish people do. The reality is a little bit nuanced, and they actually do the same thing as well when they're talking about trying to justify mass immigration in Ireland nowadays. What they try to do is they tried to say that, but the Irish emigrated in the past, which I've mentioned before in previous videos, but the Irish leaving Ireland in the mid-19th century is nothing at all to do with the mass immigration happening into Ireland nowadays. They're not comparable at all, and it's totally illogical to compare them, but it is logical for Marxists because they think all groups are the same. So they use this trick all the time. So here Varadkar is using this trick, trying to say that, trying to kind of gaslight people into thinking, oh yeah, everyone in Ireland supports Palestine and feels solidarity with them, that because they're also oppressed, pretty much.
So we support your work and that of your administration to secure a humanitarian ceasefire and to create the space for lasting peace. The people of Gaza desperately need food, medicine and shelter, and most especially they need the bombs to stop. This has to stop on both sides, the hostages brought home and humanitarian relief allowed in.
Right, so that's just typical there, yep. So, they're oppressed, and it just helps to reinforce that narrative. Now, actually, it's quite interesting that I think because Biden is there, if you had other leaders, we know that America has strong ties with Zionism in Israel, and I wonder if because if Biden's there now, it's allowing this sort of environment where it's quite symbolic to me. So you got Biden, who's a traitor and a Marxist, and you have Varadkar, who's a traitor and a Marxist as well. They're both globalist Marxists. So globalism is Marxism, as I say all the time. It's about international socialist federation of the world, one world government, all that crack, whatever label you want to stick on. The New World Order as well as another phrase people use, they don't join the dots. So that's just typical Marxist. Biden standing there, and Varadkar, they're both on the same page when it comes to globalism. They both have their same attitudes towards the people. No one wants them in their positions of authority, and they say that they're speaking for these people when they don't. So that's all just typical, really. This next video, just wanted to include this. Just something I spotted yesterday by Anto Boyle, who was based in Dublin, and he just spots different things and makes videos and so on. He's been around a while as far as I know. So this is him. He said he noticed this is a Spar like newsagent chain in Ireland, pretty much, right? So Spar, he was saying that this is a gay Spar because they have gay up in the windows, pretty much, stickers in the windows.
Anthony Boyle, Tuesday the 19th of March 2024, Mount Dame Street, Georgia Street Junction. This is Spar, gay Spar, and it's 7:25 p.m. so I'm going to walk in. I'm going to try and talk to the manager because I've enough of this shit confusing kids. They're filming me so I can film them. Security, great. Is there a manager around? I want to speak to a manager. Magella is her name. I was talking to her before. About the stickers on the windows, on those windows saying gay Spar. I'm recording you because you are recording me, because there are GDPR, right? Yeah. So there are cameras. You are recording me. Mm-hmm. You have no problem being recorded.
No,
so you have
sleep. Go home and sleep.
Go home and sleep. Yeah. No, I absolutely won't. So you have no problem being recorded. So you have no problem being recorded. So I can record you. That's how GDPR works. So okay, who's the manager in here? Magella. Who's manager? No, not security. You're
okay, go home.
Great. Go home and sleep, he says. Sorry, who's the manager in here? Who's the manager? Can I speak to the manager, please?
Not here, right?
The manager, he? What's the manager's name?
Manager's not here.
The manager's not here. He. What's his name? Are you refusing to give his name? Magella. He. It's she. Sorry. Yeah, she. Where's Magella? She's not here. When is she in next? Right, because I was in here before and I got these stickers removed. Gay spar, confusing to children. Right? There's gay spar written outside, confusing to children. All this LGBTQ, LGHDTV, blah, blah, blah. Right? So Magella's not here. Go home. No, I'll do whatever I want, mate. I'll do whatever I want, right? If you want to remove me from the shop, you can do so. Call the guards. I'm not doing anything illegal, right? You're filming me, GDPR, I'll film you, right? So, Magella, right? So, when's Magella next? Sir, when is Magella in next? Okay, great, you're new here.
She will be here. Can you wait to that side?
She will be here when?
Now.
Now.
Okay.
So you just said she wasn't here, but she will be here. Great, I'll wait here. Great. No, just no problem. I'll wait here for Magella, who I've talked to before and gotten the stickers removed. No problem. There's things saying gay sticker, gay spar. It's confusing the kids. So I'll wait here. So, sorry, sir, have you called Magella? Is she on her way? Is she on her way? Is she? Yeah. Please call Magella as quickly as you can. Thanks very much, because I've dealt with Magella several times. And Magella, how are you? Good. I was talking to you before. I'm allowed to film you. Magella, you are filming me. I'm in your shop and there are cameras. Magella, there are cameras. You can call the guards. She's calling the guards. Magella, there are stickers out here saying gay spar. Why do you have them there? Were you paid money to have them there? Were you paid money by the government or anyone else to have these stickers there? Magella.
That's a great question. So, I mean, some people think that this is a little bit extreme or maybe he's being annoying, but he absolutely has the right to kind of do this, because the way it works out here is that somebody agreed to doing this. They've got stickers up in the window that says gay spar. This is, again, it's just a cult marking their territory and trying to take over as much as they can. So, some people think this is a bit extreme or they don't understand why he's doing it. They think he's a bit unhinged or something, but he has a point, doesn't he? He has a point.
Magella, I was with you the last time and you had them removed. Magella, you can call the guards all you want. I'll be gone before that happens. Right, Magella.
You don't like gay spar stickers?
No, absolutely I don't, because it's confusing to gay. It's confusing to children.
Yeah, man.
I have relations who are gay and I've no problem with gay people, but a gay spar is confusing to children, and I raise this with this. Get a life. Mate. What's your name?
David, man.
David what?
Get away from me.
Get away from you. Yeah. So why did you come on front of me and then you tell me to get away from you?
I think you're being pretty ridiculous.
Ridiculous what? Okay, great.
Okay, can you leave the shop?
I absolutely will leave the shop. Yeah, I will watch where I'm standing, no problem. But I think it's an absolute absurdity with all this LGHD TV, blah, blah, blah. It's confusing to children. Nobody has a problem with gay people.
And don't spit on me, okay?
Nobody has a problem with gay people. Nobody. But when you have stickers outside saying it's a gay spar, I have a problem, and the vast majority of people in this country have a problem with that.
So do chip in with your thoughts in the comments whenever you see this, and let me know what you think.
And I'm going to be raising it with Magella, and she can call the guards all she wants and blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what, Magella, I haven't done a thing wrong. And actually, I will leave your store, and I don't have to leave your store, but I will. No, you're asking me, and okay.
His double standards.
I will tone down my voice, Magella, because I've dealt with you several times before. But whatever monies you got for putting up them stickers, Magella, right, is confusing young children that they think that they need to be gay to get into this shop. Shame on you. And I'll raise awareness to it, as well as these fucking zebra crossings outside, LGHD, blah, 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 right? And I'll be back again and again and again until they're removed, Gardaí or not, right? Gardaí or not. They're confusing children. Nobody has a problem with gay people or from the lesbian, gay, bisexual fucking thing. But if you're confusing children and making this shop out to be a gay spar, I have a problem with you. And Magella, you are the manager of this shop. Over and out.
There you have it, Anto Boyle. So very interesting video there. So, that's what it takes, is people to get pissed off and to speak up more. And you saw the attitude of someone in the shop. So you're that genius in the queue there said to him to get a life. I think the other guy should get a life. People should be getting more annoyed about this. It's because, you had two fully grown men there in the queue, two fully capable blokes, and they had nothing constructive to say. And it is a disgrace that those stickers are in the windows. Because if you don't speak up and say something, it's just going to get worse. So the last thing I was going to mention before I finish here, and this is something that kind of irritates me, is to see this around. You've got wrong button. So you've got even analysts, even now at this stage after everything that's happened, people still call this liberalism or neoliberalism. It isn't liberalism, and I think this is part of the problem why we're in the mess that we're in and why everything's gotten so bad. We're dealing with an international cult movement that's been around quite a long time, and it really helps when people call them liberalism, because some people don't even know what that is, or they're not that interested, or they think they're just people who are kind of progressive, quote unquote, and they just want to protest, and it's about individual rights. And that's part of the confusion, where it's about classical liberalism is the right to own property, or to be religious or non-religious, and all these different things, and they're about individual freedom of expression and about the self, pretty much. And that's where some of the confusion is. People think it's liberalism because there's a parallel between it, but that's not what it is really. Marxism hides behind liberalism. So, first of all, liberalism is not an international movement that wants to dominate the globe. It never was. It's also not conspiratorial in nature, unlike Marxism, which has always been conspiratorial. One of the ways we know Marxism is conspiratorial because they don't call themselves Marxists. They call themselves the left, progressive, revolutionary, this, blah, 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 but they don't use revolutionary so much nowadays. Sometimes they do. I think Paul Murphy, one of the cult members in Ireland, prominent cult, had this group called Rise. I think it's revolutionary, something, socialist, eco. But anyway, they don't call themselves Marxist, and that's conspiratorial because it's devious. So conspiracy really is just being devious, pretty much. By the way, while we're on the subject, people the conspiracy theorist term has become part of the pop culture, quote unquote. So pop culture is really Marxist culture, and that term has been really good at keeping them hidden, because the minute you start saying, listen, there's a conspiracy here to kind of make Ireland more Marxist, people think you're being silly and you're a conspiracy theorist, despite the fact that all of the policies and everything that's happened in Ireland and all the NGO complex is Marxism 101. So, there's no helping these people. Other elements as well in Marxism is that Marxism is anti-religion. You've all seen the anti-religious, particularly the anti-Christianity initiatives happening across the West. That's not liberalism, that's Marxism, anti-Christianity. Now, I'm not a Christian, I don't identify as being part of any religious movement. I've got some ideas about things, and I do believe in, say, a creator, right? But I and the concept of God and so on. I wouldn't call myself part of one of the religious groups, but I think it's very important that we all acknowledge that Christianity is under attack and needs to be defended, right? Because that's Marxism and Christianity are diametrically opposed. They can't exist in the same space, and Marxism has always sought to destroy Christianity, and obviously Catholicism being the biggest Christian organization in the world. That's why they've been enemies, because Marxism can't function when Catholicism or Christianity is too powerful. That's why it seeks to destroy it. So the anti-religious element to all this progressive globalist stuff in the last few years is nothing to do with liberalism. That's Marxism, that is. But again, people don't understand what Marxism is. They can't acknowledge that. Another one then is anti-capitalism, right? So that's another thing that's Marxist, is the anti-capitalist mentality, which has gone on for quite a while, where people blame the capitalist system as being the problem. Another part of that as well is people, it's the rich, it's the bourgeois classes to blame, the elites, quote unquote, which is another way of saying the bourgeoisie, another classic example of the Marxist mentality. And another, and this is probably one of the last ones, is liberalism can't explain the level of psychopathic activist brainwashing in the world today, all across the world, that's driving the mass immigration problem, which is destroying country after country, the weird sexual stuff in school, the abortion issue as well, which in Ireland, since abortion came in, has massive skyrocketed the amount of abortions and so on. So all these other problems, these are all symptoms of Marxism. And what drives those initiatives and agendas is a Marxist indoctrination. Liberalism can't explain that. It's Marxism, though. When people are brainwashed into this idea that they're special and they're going to save the world, that's Marxism. It's not liberalism. And that goes for the climate movement as well. When you have 10 and 12-year-olds out in the streets marching about saving the planet when they can barely tie their own shoelaces, liberalism can't explain that. That's Marxist indoctrination. So, I'm getting really sick of this. It's 2000, what year is it? 2024, and people still are mislabeling this, and I won't mention names, but there are people who still call this liberalism, neoliberalism. No, it isn't. It's crazy revolutionary activism, aka Marxism. So that's all for this one, folks. Just a few things before I finish up then. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Thanks for the messages recently and comments from people as well. Please do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter at ResolvingR as well. Do send me an email, contactrrATprotonmailDOTcom, or you can send me a DM on X as well if you've got any suggestions for guests or topics. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.